Am I white? I'm asking you, the entire world, many of you who are not Americans, and I appreciate that. That's why I'm asking the question. So many people who watch my YouTube channel here for Family Friendly Daddy blog. Of course, this is an extension of my actual blog that exists, but I talk a lot about my DNA test that I took on MyHeritage and my mom's that she took on MyHeritage, and looking at those findings to ultimately figure out where I came from and that sort of thing. But am I undeniably just white? Is that how I am seen on a global scale? I'm asking the whole world, more so than just asking fellow Americans. I'm asking you who are in Europe or wherever you are in the world that's not America. Am I white? Am I considered white? And that's the end of the conversation. Would people just quickly classify me? Yep, he's white. That's it. I'm asking that question, but now there's a there. In case that helps, there you go. All right. So, just a reminder of my ethnicity, and this is based not only on my MyHeritage DNA test, but also on my mother's as well. And those videos are on my channel in case you want to check those out. But ultimately, the easiest way to word it is that I'm about a third German Dutch, which undeniably European white, right? And from there's a little bit of Baltic, which would be like Lithuanian, Estonian, Latvia. There's like just a couple percentages of that. There is, if we're looking at my mom's DNA, then I'm about 2% Italian and 4% Greek, about 8% Jewish and 8% Middle Eastern. But then I'm also something like a quarter Central American, which would be like Mayan and Aztec. So we've got quite a mix. Ultimately, when you do the math, it comes out more so that I'm more German, Dutch, and certain parts of Italian, and then also Spanish. I'm definitely, absolutely, somewhere around a quarter Spanish as well. Something like that, along those lines. But it just makes me wonder, like, what does it take for someone to be considered white? Because if you look at me again, okay, yeah, he's a white guy. Yeah, he fits in fine with anybody in Europe, and no one would question it, and that's fine. But the fact that my mother's half Mexican, so she's somewhere around half Spanish and you know, somewhere around half Central American, Mayan or Aztec. We've got that going on, so that already kind of changes things a little bit. It makes me a little bit less white compared to most terms because of the fact that she is herself part Central American. And I understand it. Spanish is considered white. I get it. And then there's the Jewish thing, because are Jewish people considered to be white? I guess they are. But then they're considered Middle Eastern. And are Middle Eastern people considered white? These are things I don't know. Here in America, I'm sure we've got our own perception of things that's going to be different compared to the rest of the world. And I make videos like this so that I can understand the world's perspective of it, not just the American perspective of it. So, am I definitely just another white guy? Even though I've definitely got a large part of me is definitely not white. If you're Mayan or Aztec Central American, that's not white, for a fact. I'm also 1% African because my mom's 2% African, so that's not white. But like I said, the Jewish and Middle Eastern thing, are they white, or are they something not white? So I think when you do the math, it definitely would point to the fact that I am more white than anything. But it's just, white is such a funny term to classify people anyway. It's kind of goofy to me. And I get it that I'm somewhat mixed, but it's not so much about what I think, it's about, I think, what other people perceive. You know? So my question, knowing what you know, based off of what I've said, what I've told you, based off of what you see, am I, without reservation, just another white guy who ultimately blends in with everybody else, and I could generically pass as anything? If I were on some kind of movie or TV show and you saw me, would I be a guy who basically could generically pass as most things? I wouldn't be able to pass as an African, but I could pass probably as, what, Jewish, maybe? Maybe Greek? Maybe just most places in Europe I could pass for those things. I could pass for an American. I could pass for things that are considered white, but maybe now you got me wondering, what could I pass for that's not considered white? And I think if we ask that question, we can understand my question better, okay? Maybe if the question is less, am I white? And maybe the real question would be, what could I pass for that would not be considered white? That's the real question. See, that happened since I started making this video. I intended to make this a video called, Am I White? Now I'm changing the title. At the end of the video, in real time, I've decided this video will really be called, What could I be considered that's not white? Could I pass for someone who is not white? Whether it's in real life or not. But is there anything other than white? Could I play someone who's Middle Eastern? Could I play someone who's Jewish? Could I play someone who is South American? Could I be something other than white if someone saw me? Again, my opinion doesn't matter. Yours does. You're the outsider, especially if you're not an American. I want to know what you think. I want to understand the world's perspective of how this looks. Or in the end, despite the parts of my ethnicity that are not white and European, is that ultimately all I am generically? Am I just generically another white guy, American, European mix? Is that ultimately all I really am when you boil it down as far as how people perceive it? I want to know what you have to say. I'm here to learn from you.